Well, hello there, you absolute capitalism enjoyers. Welcome to Recettear review by Ssethtzeentach. I'm not sure how to spell the name of this game, and I'm not sure what kind of game this is. I'm in the middle of going through the rabbit hole of older Seth videos that have a little bit less views overall, and checking out definitely some of the weirder games he has thrown off on the channel. I just got done recording the previous video, which is about this cool strategy game where you put bounties on enemy units and you didn't directly control your own units, you just kinda tried to sway them by offering properly high bounties for enemies, which is a cool idea. And now we are reacting to this. I'm not sure what this is, so I'm just going to play the video and see.
Hey people, Seth here. Have you ever watched one of those sad documentaries about the living conditions of sweatshop workers in Thailand and thought to yourself,
I gotta say, I never watched a documentary like this. Like, I watched a lot of documentaries about third world countries where something is going on, whether it's just a YouTube video that's really detailed or something on Netflix. You know, there's usually some coverage of something that went down, even, for example, something as stupid as a Salmonella Academy video about what happened to certain countries in the Southern America that were dubbed the Banana Republics, I think. And basically how private companies from the United States of America fucking ruined those countries so they could so that Americans could get cheap bananas, which is great. But I never really watched any documentary or any movie or any video that centers around sweatshop workers. So I gotta say, on this one, no, not really.
those poor people, they make products that sell for hundreds, yet they earn a single dollar for their labor. That's terrible. Those workers are clearly overpaid. I'd pay them half. Then I've got exactly the game for you. Recettear, released in 2007 and translated from Mandarin Chinese in 2010. On the surface, Recettear is a game about the true merchant experience of being a professional shill. As such, it resonates strongly with my own personal belief and culture. Instead of being a random adventuring schmuck that risks their own life and limb to put bread on the table, you play as a child that risks their very soul by venturing into the most dangerous, cutthroat, and oppressive arena of all, the arena of business. However, beneath the surface, Recettear is also a social commentary on whether or not it's ethically acceptable to hold a child financially responsible for her father's debt.
Of course it is. That's just how we capitalists roll. Remember to deposit the next payment until Monday, or the knee busters will be at your door.
Spoiler, in this world, yes, we absolutely can. Now, get to work. Story. The story is very simple. Recette has a father who took a huge loan from the Rothschilds in order to finance his item shop without first reading the fine print or the terms and conditions. Realizing that he has no way of making repayment, he does what most absent fathers do. He heads out of town looking for Coke Vanilla and is never seen again. Immediately after, a
Coke Vanilla sucks, man.
Loan shark appears. As you figured out from the title, Tyr is the secondary companion in Recettear, and from day one has psychologically engineered Recette into a state of Stockholm Syndrome, thinking that she is somehow friends with her debt repayment supervisor, who is a fantastic, genuine, and warm person, who is entirely ready to throw a child on the street if she doesn't make those deadlines. But don't worry, there's a generous amount of time to settle your debt, an entire calendar month. As such, you have an increasingly high loan to repay each week, or you get evicted and die in poverty. Welcome to capitalism. Gameplay. Recettear is a high-speed simulation of a capitalist dream or the capitalist nightmare, depending on your personal ability and genetic factors. For each day, you have a finite...
What did he mean by this? What did he mean by this?
resource. It's called time, and there's 4 blocks of time in
Man, I just wanna say, obviously Seth would love a game about running an item shop in a fantasy setting. Not because of the obvious joke that he's of Jewish descent, but more that he loves abusing economies in games where it's not necessarily your goal to become rich. You know, there are some games where you're supposed to make capital and expand, like, I don't know, some simulators where you're building things, or apparently this, which I didn't know existed. But usually in like a game, Fable is a good example. The end goal is to beat the story and not become rich. Doesn't stop Seth from exploiting the economy to become as overpowered as soon as the game allows him to be. You know, different players, I guess, take joy from different experiences in video games is all I have to say, because to me, breaking an economy in Fable or Gothic or Elex just kinda seems pointless. Why would I spend my time grinding in a fucking single player game? Yeah, like I said, that's why this game is perfect for him, because he clearly enjoys that type of gameplay, or expressing himself through gameplay.
each day. How you spend it is pivotal to your success. Grabbing inventory from a local merchants guild takes a block. Opening the store for business takes a block. Hiring some schmuck to steal loot from the dungeon takes 2. Also, he might not come back. Everything in Recettear is measured risk and reward. Your only objective is to pay off a damn loan shark. But you can approach that objective in any way you see fit. Every day is completely randomized, and you can't predict what happens next on the free market. The invisible hand of a free market is told to you through news bulletins, which, to paraphrase, sound like this. Valuable material prices have stabilized. Weapon prices are up. Oh, and also, there's a race riot happening in the north. The news in this game is amazing.
What?
These bulletins take place every morning, but they can trigger any time and force a rapid change in your sales strategy. Let's say a news report comes in that the local harvest has failed completely. Food prices are up and people are getting desperate. How can we help? Well, we buy the remaining food supplies, put them on display, and sell them back to the people for a reasonable price. Of course, you can't put a price on feeding your family, can you? But, I can. 200...
I mean, true. Well, that's what Nestle does in third world countries. Literally this, but with baby formula.
And 60%
And
of the
water. And drinkable water.
Value. Thank you for your business. You don't have an alternative. Other times, you can have a complete lapse of judgment. Buying a commodity in bulk and selling it in high numbers will crash the market. Prices hit rock bottom, and until they correct, you better have a backup plan, or you're going to be evicted. The act of being a merchant in Recettear is a very personalized experience. You put something on display, you attract a certain kind of clientele. For example, a man haggles much less than a woman. I can easily upmark his purchases to 125% without a single complaint. But the moment I dare charge a housewife 120%, she will immediately haggle me down to 110, despite the fact that women have twice the disposable income to spend compared to men. What did they mean by this? Honey, I had to purchase this Buddha statue for $5,000 because it just fit into the decor of our room. Yes, I know food prices have doubled. That's why I took your Fredo bar you were hiding from me under the bed and sold it for $500. Small children are also equally baffling. They go into a bookstore, browse the selection, and then ask me if I have any food. Each successful transaction results in a tiny drop of merchant experience. This is worthless. The only way to level up is stringing together as many transactions as physically possible, allowing you to become a truly powerful merchant until you become semi-successful, and then this bitch shows up. She'll try to scam you with insane prices, and if you don't take it, she'll break your entire combo. Urea? More like urea, because she's an incarnation of human waste. As your merchant levels increase, your options expand, and the game gets increasingly more complex. You can customize the appearance of your store to attract different customers.
Oh, that's... Damn, this game has a lot of mechanics, and I'm assuming it's an older title. But holy shit, that's actually well thought out and surprisingly deep. Holy goddamn, that's a very cool and unique game.
You can expand the store to hold
like all the memes about Merchants Guild aside, you know.
More items on display. You can fuse dungeon items together for less money, but exponentially more time. You can have customers sell you their garbage for garbage prices. You can agree to take advance orders from customers, only to forget about it until they come screaming the next day. You can even automate the whole process by replacing your entire store with vending machines, eliminating unnecessary human contact and streamlining the process of hands exchanging money. Who needs social distancing when our employees are unpaid, unfeeling golems whose only purpose is to serve you watermelon at competitive prices? Now, it is traditionally believed that you can't finish this game by staying in town. Bullshit. I finished the game in 2 days of play, and I didn't even need the dungeon. All I needed was some interior decoration. Turns out the best customer is your own business rival, because holy shit, she buys everything for 150%. Alouette, you are my MVP. For everyone else, you might have to go into the dungeon. My condolences, because the dungeon is not very good. You go inside, kill monsters, and open chests. Very often, they don't contain items. They contain something to fuck you over in a variety of different ways.
This is a very weird case where this game is clearly designed around running your shop and, you know, certain risk management that comes with that. To add an option where there is actually combat involved feels like the developers kinda like getting scared that they might have went too deep. Like they didn't fully commit to the core gameplay of the game. That feels kinda wrong if you ask me. There is that game, Stardew Valley, and it promised to be a farming game where, you know, you have your own farmstead, you can have animals, tend to your crops, go into town, talk with villagers, and then out of fucking nowhere they introduce like a cave where you go down and kill monsters for a loot that is pretty much needed to upgrade your tools and like get you better equipment, so it is kinda mandatory. That's so weird. Just commit to the idea of it being a farming game, or in this instance, just like a shop simulator. Instead of this, it should have been like you can pay for expeditions and they happen completely off screen and they are completely out of your control, and you simply have a risk that they won't come back and you lost your money, for example, of what they could do. And then it would feed more into that loop of risk management, risk reward, and obviously using your finances to expand your finances without introducing fucking combat into the mix. I don't know, I just find that really weird.
Each time you get hit,
that they didn't commit fully.
Your main character screams. This happens often, so get used to it. Often, you'll stay in a dungeon until you find something of value to justify spending your time in this god-awful place, which is filled with all manner of fantasy creatures we know and love, such as vegetable, animal, and of course, tentacle. I fucking hate the dungeon. But it's the only place where ingredients drop, and you need these to make fusion items. Some examples are toothpicks, cotton balls, and bat wings, which can be used to make soup. Honestly, anything you encounter down here is not dangerous. They're benign and completely harmless.
The good old Wuhan eating bat jokes. How did that fucking rumor even spread? Like, Jesus Christ.
Imagine robbing the...
People will just believe anything if you tie it into the current, like, unsettling event. Holy shit.
elderly. You wouldn't call them monsters, would you? They're more like walking loot dispensers. Yeah, just cut this part of the script. Once you get their business card, the adventurers do get better. The dungeon, however, does not. It is the same randomly generated grid, copy-pasted several hundred times. But Seth, there's...
So it's literally a Persona 3 dungeon, but it kinda looks better than Persona 3 dungeons. Holy fuck, I hate the Persona 3 dungeon. God damn.
boss fights, correct. They take about the same amount of time to kill as vegetables. I implore you, become a better merchant today. If not for the love of money, then from the deep existential fear of having to go through the equivalent of Dante's Inferno and the 9 circles of hell just to come back with a fucking back scratcher. Recettear is a very charming little title, and it's quite different from the rest. I find the act of shilling endlessly to be very relaxing, and I think you will too. Even when you finish the main story, there's still more content. It's not much, but endless mode lets you experience everything you missed without time constraints. There's a lot of little side stories. Yes, they are wholesome and endearing, but I'm just here for the money. Also, don't stay on the main menu or your ears are going to bleed. If you're a masochist, you can play the Dante Must Die difficulty mode, Survival Hell, where the debt never truly ends. It only keeps increasing until you're financially crushed. Oh, and also all your progress is gone. Good luck. I give Recettear a 10 out of 10 years ago, back when this game was still relevant. I still play it sometimes to relive my ancestry, so I thoroughly recommend it. Unfortunately, the game never goes on sale. Correction, the game is currently on sale, and $15 for something older than the average Pyrocynical subscriber is unreasonable. Thus, I strongly encourage you to use a VPN.
Sorry, what was that?
And buy the game in Argentinian pesos, which converts roughly to about $3. Also, I'm proud to announce that I'll be streaming on DLive for the next month. How? Why? Because the Trump of cryptocurrency has bought out the platform, and he made me an offer I couldn't refuse. That's 4 streams of 2 hours, once a week, each Saturday, at the following times. Come and hang out. It'll be fun. We are literally the second biggest stream besides PewDiePie, because we actually have a script. As always, more content to come, so stay tuned. A warm thanks to the many members of a Merchants Guild generously funding and bankrolling these videos. This one, however, is completely free. You're all truly wonderful. Have a good one.
Nice. Nice. I honestly like that game. Looks pretty cool. We need more unique experiences in the world, you know. We don't need another fucking shooter or first person horror game. You know the types of experiences I'm talking about, like a literal copy paste of another more successful IP. We need more Recettears in our life to spice up the landscape of video games. Cool game. Cool review. I rated cool out of cool. It was very cool. See you in the next one.